The dark arrives. The first signs came from the edge of known space. Deep space monitoring stations registered anomalies that defied explanation. Energy signatures that shouldn't exist. Movement patterns that violated the laws of physics. The advanced civilizations of the Galactic Council dismissed these readings as sensor malfunctions. They were wrong. The Zephyrians were the first to encounter them directly. Their border colony on Kepler 442 bits went silent without warning. No distress signal, no debris field, just emptiness where 12 million souls once lived. When the Zephyrian Navy arrived to investigate, they found something that challenged everything they knew about the universe. The enemy had no name at first. They moved through space like living shadows, consuming matter and energy with terrifying efficiency. Their ships weren't built, they grew, spreading across star systems like cosmic cancer. The Galactic Council's greatest minds analyzed the threat and reached a horrifying conclusion. These beings didn't come from our galaxy. They came from the void between galaxies, where the laws of physics bent and twisted in ways that shouldn't be possible. Ambassador Crix of the Altarian Empire stood before the assembled representatives of 200 civilizations. His crystalline form flickered with anxiety as he delivered the Council's decision. The mathematical models are clear. We cannot defeat the Void Hunters. Their technology exceeds ours by orders of magnitude. They consume entire star systems to fuel their expansion. The only logical choice is strategic withdrawal. The holographic chamber erupted in controlled panic. Species that had achieved faster-than-light travel, mastered antimatter engines, and built Dyson spheres were reduced to frightened children before this cosmic horror. The evacuation plans were elaborate. A mass exodus to the Andromeda Galaxy, using generation ships and experimental wormhole generators. Earth's representative, Ambassador Sarah Chen, remained silent throughout the debate. When the Council called for a vote on the evacuation protocol, every species voted to flee. Every species except one. Earth abstains, Chen announced, her voice cutting through the chamber. The Altarian ambassador's form shifted to a deeper shade of blue, indicating confusion. Ambassador Chen, perhaps you misunderstand. This is not a military strategy session. This is a survival protocol. The Void Hunters cannot be stopped. Chen stood, her dark eyes reflecting the chamber's swirling lights. With respect, Ambassador Crix, humanity has faced extinction before. We've survived ice ages, plagues, nuclear war, and climate collapse. We've never survived by running. The session dissolved into chaos. Some species accused humans of suicidal pride. Others whispered about the legendary human stubbornness. But as the great ships of the Galactic Council began their preparations for the journey to Andromeda, Earth recalled its ambassadors and prepared for war. At the United Nations headquarters in Geneva, the emergency session lasted 18 hours. Military leaders, scientists, and politicians from every nation gathered in person and via hologram. The debate was fierce, but the conclusion was unanimous. If the galaxy would abandon the fight, humanity would stand alone. Admiral Michael Chen, Sarah's brother and Supreme Commander of Earth's United Defense Force, addressed the assembly. Ladies and gentlemen, our ancestors faced the darkness with stone tools and fire. They didn't run from saber-toothed tigers or mammoth herds. They learned, adapted, and conquered. Today, we face a darkness from beyond the stars. But we are not our ancestors. We have fusion reactors, quantum computers, and a combined will of 8 billion humans. If this is humanity's last stand, let's make it one the universe will remember. The mobilization was unlike anything in human history. Every factory retooled for weapons production. Civilian ships were retrofitted with experimental weapons. Scientists worked around the clock, analyzing every scrap of data about the Void Hunters. Underground bunkers were expanded. The moon became a fortress, bristling with rail guns and missile batteries. Retired military personnel reported for duty without being called. Children collected scrap metal. Artists designed propaganda posters. Hackers formed cyber warfare units. The entire species moved with singular purpose. Earth's orbital shipyards worked continuously, producing a fleet that prioritized function over form. Human ships weren't elegant like Zephyrian cruisers or beautiful like Altarian star dancers. They were brutal, efficient killing machines. Dr. Lisa Martinez led the team analyzing Void Hunter technology. Working from fragmentary sensor data and refugee accounts, they made a startling discovery. The Void Hunters used a form of energy manipulation that seemed to violate thermodynamics, but hidden in the chaos of their attacks was a pattern, a frequency that remained constant regardless of their tactical approach. "It's like a heartbeat," Martinez explained to the Defense Council. "Every system they consume, every ship they destroy, it all resonates at this specific frequency. If we can disrupt it." The first wave hit the outer colonies 3 months after the evacuation began. Proxima Centauri, humanity's oldest extrasolar colony, sent its final transmission as the darkness approached. "Enemy in system. Evacuation complete. Activating Prometheus protocol. See you on the other side." The colony's fusion reactors overloaded in a coordinated explosion, briefly outshining the star itself. The Void Hunters paused, their first encounter with human defiance. They had consumed thousands of worlds, but none had fought back with such fury. As the enemy adapted and continued their advance, Earth's deep space sensors tracked their approach. The abandoned worlds of fleeing civilizations fell like dominoes. The Void Hunters grew stronger with each conquest, their shadowy fleets multiplying exponentially. On Mars, Colonel James Murphy commanded the first line of defense. The red planet had been transformed into a fortress world, its surface dotted with weapons emplacements and underground bunkers. "Remember," Murphy told his troops, "we're not just fighting for Earth. We're fighting for the right of life to exist in this galaxy. No retreat. No surrender." The Mars Defense Force consisted of veterans from every conflict in human history. Russians who had fought in the Arctic Wars stood alongside Americans who had served in the Pacific conflicts. Chinese tank commanders coordinated with European fighter pilots. Old rivalries meant nothing in the face of extinction. Humanity's spy satellites, launched on suicide missions into Void Hunter territory, transmitted critical data. The enemy's ships weren't purely technological. They were partially organic, growing and adapting like living organisms. This hybrid nature might be their strength, but it could also be a weakness. Back on Earth, cities had transformed into military strongholds. New York's skyscrapers housed vertical missile farms. London's underground became a vast command center. Tokyo's districts were connected by armored tunnels. Every major city had contingency plans for street-by-street warfare. In the Australian outback, Aboriginal elders performed ancient ceremonies alongside quantum physicists calibrating experimental weapons. In the Himalayas, Buddhist monks meditated in chambers housing antimatter containment systems. Humanity's diverse cultures found unity in Defiance. The International Space Station, expanded into a battle platform, served as humanity's forward command post. From here, Admiral Chen coordinated the defense of the solar system. Holographic displays showed the approaching darkness, a cancer spreading through the galaxy. "All stations report ready," came the announcement from Mars. Luna Base, standing by, confirmed the moon garrison. Asteroid Belt Defense Grid online, reported the mining stations turned weapons platforms. Admiral Chen looked at the tactical display. The Void Hunters would reach Mars in 72 hours. Behind him, Earth turned slowly, blue and white and beautiful. 8 billion humans, thousands of years of civilization, countless dreams and aspirations, all of it resting on what happened in the next few days. "Send a message to the Galactic Council's evacuation fleet," Chen ordered. "Tell them Earth stands ready. Tell them we have not given up. And tell them—" He paused, thinking of his sister somewhere among the stars. "Tell them we'll hold the line until they realize running isn't the answer." As the first Void Hunter scouts entered the outer solar system, humanity's greatest test began. The darkness had consumed entire civilizations. It had driven the galaxy's most advanced species to flee in terror, but it had never faced a species too stubborn to know when it was beaten. The battle for survival was about to begin. The last stand. The darkness came from Mars like a tsunami of shadow. Void hunter ships emerged from fold space in perfect formation, their biomechanical hulls pulsing with stolen energy. Colonel Murphy watched from the command bunker as his tactical display filled with enemy contacts. More ships than any single world had ever faced. More than the models predicted. More than humanity had ammunition for. All batteries, open fire on my mark, Murphy commanded. His voice carried no fear, only determination. Let's show these bastards what humans are made of. Mark. The red planet erupted. Thousands of rail guns fired in sequence, hurling tungsten projectiles at significant fractions of light speed. Nuclear missiles launched from hidden silos. Particle beam weapons carved brilliant lines through space. The first wave of void hunters disintegrated under the barrage, their organic components unable to adapt quickly enough to the variety of human weapons. But more came. Always more. In Earth's orbit, Admiral Chen coordinated the system-wide defense. Mars is holding, but they're vastly outnumbered. Launch the reserve squadrons. Human fighters, small and agile, swarmed from carriers hidden in the asteroid belt. They flew with reckless abandon, weaving between Void Hunter capital ships, targeting what appeared to be sensor nodes and propulsion systems. When ammunition ran low, some pilots turned their craft into guided missiles, ramming enemy vessels in final acts of defiance. The Void Hunters adapted with terrifying speed. Their ships began growing armor plating specifically designed to deflect human projectiles. Their weapons shifted frequency to bypass Earth's shields. They learned from every attack, every human tactic, becoming more efficient killers with each passing hour. On Earth, Dr. Martinez and her team worked frantically in an underground laboratory. The frequency they'd discovered was the key, but implementing a disruption system required precision beyond anything humanity had achieved. We need more data, Martinez insisted. Real-time readings from active Void Hunter ships. The order went out, capture an enemy vessel intact. Captain Jessica Torres led the mission. Her ship, the Defiant, was a former mining vessel retrofitted with boarding equipment. As the battle raged around Mars, the Defiant slipped through the chaos, targeting a damaged Void Hunter scout. Boarding teams, prepare for EVA, Torres ordered. Remember, we need their core systems intact. This is for all the marbles, people. The boarding action was humanity's first direct contact with the enemy. Marines in powered armor cut through the organic hull, entering a nightmare of twisted corridors and pulsing walls. The ship's interior was alive, responding to their presence with defensive mutations. Acidic secretions, razor-sharp protrusions, passages that contracted like throats trying to swallow intruders. Sergeant David Kim led his squad deeper into the ship. Stay focused. Martinez needs that core. Everything depends on this. They found it in what might have been the ship's heart, a chamber where organic and mechanical components merged into something neither fully alive nor purely artificial. As they extracted the core, the ship convulsed, its death throes threatening to crush the boarding team. Move, 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 Kim shouted, dragging the precious component as his team fought their way back to the exit. The Defiant barely escaped as the Void Hunter ship imploded, but they had what Earth needed. Mars fell on the 5th day. Colonel Murphy's last transmission was characteristically human. Mars base to Earth. Position overrun. Detonating nuclear stockpile. Give them hell for us. Murphy out. The red planet flashed white as humanity's second line of defense shows death over surrender. The explosion consumed 12 Void Hunter capital ships, buying Earth precious hours. Those hours mattered. In her laboratory, Dr. Martinez decoded the enemy's weakness. It's not just a frequency, she explained to the War Council. It's a resonance pattern that connects all their ships. They're not individual vessels. They're part of a collective organism. Disrupt the pattern, and we disrupt their coordination. The problem was scale. To generate a disruption field large enough to affect the entire enemy fleet required more power than Earth's entire electrical grid could provide. The solution came from an unexpected source. Professor Chen Wei, the Admiral's father and a pioneer in fusion research, proposed the unthinkable. We turn Earth itself into a resonance weapon. The planet's core, properly stimulated, could generate the frequency we need. It was insane. It was dangerous. It could crack the planet's crust, or worse. It was exactly the kind of desperate gambit humanity was known for. As engineers worked to implement the plan, the Void Hunters pressed their advantage. The asteroid belt defenses fell. Luna Base held for 18 hours before being overwhelmed. Enemy ships darkened Earth's sky, beginning their harvest pattern. But humanity had one more card to play. Throughout the battle, Earth had been broadcasting on all frequencies. Not military communications, something else. Music, art, literature, the complete works of Shakespeare, Beethoven's symphonies, children's laughter, wedding vows, scenes of human life in all its chaotic beauty. The message was simple. This is what you're trying to destroy. This is what we're fighting for. The broadcasts reached the refugee fleet. Aboard the Altarian command ship, Ambassador Crix stared at the tactical display showing Earth's last stand. The humans were outnumbered 1,000 to 1. Logic dictated their defeat was inevitable. But logic had never fully explained humans. "They're still fighting," whispered a Zephyrian officer. "Their world burns, and they sing," asked a Centauri diplomat. Ambassador Crix's crystalline form shifted through a spectrum of colors: confusion, admiration, and finally, shame. "No," he said quietly. "We're the ones who burn. We burn with cowardice." The evacuation fleet stopped. Across 100 species, the same realization dawned. They were running while a single world, a young, stubborn, magnificent world, stood alone against the darkness. The Altarian ambassador opened a channel to his fleet. "All vessels, this is Ambassador Crix. Humanity fights for all life in this galaxy. Are we so evolved that we've forgotten how to stand with our allies? Are we so advanced that we've lost our courage? I am returning to Earth. I do not order you to follow. I ask you to remember what it means to be civilized." One by one, ships turned. The Zephyrian Navy, their pride stung by humanity's example. The Centauri Science Fleet, curious about human innovation. The Rigelian warrior caste, shamed by their retreat. The great evacuation became a great return. Admiral Chen received the message with disbelief. Galactic Council forces returning to Sol System, requesting coordination for joint defense. Earth's resonance weapon was nearly ready, but with Allied forces arriving, humanity had options. The returned fleet brought something precious: detailed scans of Void Hunter operations across the galaxy. The pattern was clear. All Void Hunter activity centered on a massive construct near the galactic core. A hive, a nest, a heart. "We've been playing defense," Admiral Chen realized. Time to take the fight to them. The combined fleet was still outnumbered, but no longer impossibly so. Human creativity merged with alien technology. Zephyrian shields protected human assault craft. Altarian sensors guided Earth's weapons. Centauri scientists worked with Dr. Martinez to refine the resonance weapon. The battle for Earth became the turning point. When the resonance weapon activated, channeling the planet's core energy through a network of satellites, the effect was immediate. Void Hunter ships faltered. Their coordinated attacks became chaotic. Their adaptive defenses failed to function. "All ships, concentrate fire," Admiral Chen ordered. "Drive them back." For the first time since their emergence, the Void Hunters retreated. Not a tactical withdrawal, but a rout. The collective organism had felt pain on a scale it couldn't comprehend. Human stubbornness had become galactic resolve. The counter-offensive began immediately. The combined fleet pressed their advantage, pursuing the Void Hunters toward the galactic core. At each liberated system, they left defensive stations equipped with resonance generators. The darkness was being pushed back. The final battle took place at the edge of the galactic core. The Void Hunter hive construct dwarfed anything the Allied fleet had encountered, a massive structure of organic technology that pulsed with malevolent energy. This was their spawning ground, their central consciousness. "All ships, form up," Admiral Chen commanded. "Today, we end this threat forever." The battle was apocalyptic. Void Hunters fought with desperate fury. Allied ships died by the hundreds. But for every vessel lost, 10 more pressed the attack. Humanity's berserker rage had infected the entire coalition. No retreat, no surrender, only victory or extinction. At the battle's climax, a human ship, the Earth's pride, punched through enemy defenses. Its cargo was special, a planet-killer bomb modified with resonance technology. Captain Maria Santos knew it was a one-way mission. For Earth, for the galaxy, for life itself, she transmitted, piloting her ship into the hive's core. The explosion was visible from neighboring galaxies. The resonance wave propagated through every Void Hunter construct simultaneously. The collective consciousness shattered. Individual ships became inert, their organic components dying as the unifying force dissipated. In the aftermath, as Allied forces mopped up the remaining threats, a new order emerged. The Galactic Council reconvened, but with a different structure. Humanity, the youngest spacefaring civilization, was given a permanent seat on the Security Council. More than that, human officers were integrated into every defensive fleet. Human colonies were established at strategic points throughout the galaxy. Earth itself was rebuilt, stronger than before. Cities rose from the ashes. Monuments honored the fallen. The planet became a symbol, not just of human resilience, but of what civilizations could achieve when they stood together. Ambassador Sarah Chen addressed the reconstructed Galactic Council. "We've learned something important. Running from darkness only makes it stronger. When we turn and face our fears together, we become the light that drives it away." The galaxy had abandoned the fight. Only humans refused to run. In doing so, they taught an entire galaxy the true meaning of courage. The Void Hunters were gone, but the galaxy remained vigilant. Human-designed early warning systems monitored the void between galaxies. Multi-species rapid response fleets trained constantly. And at the heart of it all, Earth continued its eternal vigil. Never again would the galaxy run. Humanity had shown them a better way. Stand, fight, protect what matters. The stars belonged to life, and life would never again surrender them to the darkness.